Blimba, Chicken Chamin, Mkhetwa AKMK, and a whole bunch of other AKAs. The Sobering Podcast. Special episode. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, no, it's a very special episode. You know? Big Fred, aka Big Vax. You know, gonna keep it responsible. aka King Game Tsubasa. Wena khashu, mina khasha.
I mean, there's
you're not going to explain that one.
What? Soccer, cartoon.
Mina khashu.
Wena khashu, mina khasha. You're a khashu, idiota. Moi, I'm a go.
Hey man, I was Mina khashu, wena khashu. Well, Mina Zulu, yeah.
Mina khasha, yeah. How am I gonna do a decoded for an AKA, guys? Anyway, super special guest. Amazing.
Oh, khashu.
Oh wow.
Nah, no.
What did you think he was talking about?
No way.
Yo, this nigga was speaking Japanese to me. You know? I was like, Tsubasa. I was like, okay, this goes on. That's why I was like, this is Zulu, right? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Amazing guest. I mean, where do we start with her? Firstly, shout out to balancing out the testosterone.
Yeah, it hasn't been balanced out in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
A shift. There's a shift, yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Oh, it's not a balance. It's not yeah. It's a shift.
GOAT curator. Event specialist. Mogul. I don't even know, man. Like, it's like a super being in our presence.
It's too much.
MamakaShaka. As I would call her. Welcome, MamakaShaka. Nandi, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. I must say I felt a bit pressured with the whole AKA introduction. I was like, okay, cool. It's Nandi, AKA MamakaShaka, AKA Cheeks, AKA Madlamini, AKA my legs.
My legs. I like my legs. I'm gonna stick with my legs. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you?
You know, we are in these times still.
Yeah. Strange times.
Yeah.
Business unusual.
Business unusual.
I like that.
I think that's like a great way to put it. And like you're like I said, like event GOAT. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody does events the way that you do it. You know, tailor making an experience and just bringing forth and curating a feel-good vibe.
Pun intended.
All of it intended.
I mean, like, before, like, we just, you know, I mean, we're here, and like I said, I'm Big Vax today because I'm a responsible human being. And I'm pro-choice, but I'm a responsible human being. Just before we get into that, I would like us to just start in terms of your makeup as an event curator, because I know that's one of the hats that you have, you know, and how you got into that space, and then when this COVID thing struck, how that affected the space.
Yeah, it was a really hard time, I think, for a lot of us. So I run an experience-led agency. So beyond the brands or properties that I've created myself, a huge bulk of my business was in servicing other brands that exist within the arts, culture, and lifestyle space. So you may have interacted with events and experiences that I ideated or produced or curated and just not known it was a MamakaShaka event. May have had a brand, another brand as the face. But yeah, so that's primarily what we've done, because the agency is about 4 to 5 years old. And yeah, and just to answer the first bit of the question is like the why, I suppose, like why the space. I come from advertising and TV production, and that was taxing. It was very, that was emotionally and mentally taxing, but, you know, financially, it was great.
Yeah.
It was so good. But I just got to a point where I started the WKND Social with a couple of other female like creative entrepreneurs, and what started as a passion project just really developed into like my true north. I found so much fulfillment in like bringing people together and considering, you know, event touch points. You know, how do you captivate the five senses when you bring people together into a space? And that thinking that like, yeah, it just felt like my mind was activated, and increasingly my 9 to 5 just, you know, felt like a prison. In comparison. And so I took the leap a couple years ago to just, you know, do things that like I'm passionate about in spaces that I'm passionate about. And couldn't have had, because then it was like 3 years later, COVID.
Oh, damn.
So I've gone from a content space, which, you know, if I was still in, I think probably would have survived, wouldn't have been as hard hitting as this, into like primarily experience-led activity. And yeah, man, that was really, really, really tough for, I'm sure, a lot of people. But we were fortunate enough that we had, as an agency, we had other means of income. So I was able to keep, you know, a little over afloat while this was happening. And it really did present me with a like silver lining. I'm a silver linings person. And I spent the most of the time in lockdown just considering, when these doors open up. So that was me. Just strategizing and just also taking stock of all the ways that we had done well and not done well on the properties. You know, like what is the why of each property? Have we meaningfully, you know, fulfilled or met those expectations? And if we fell short, how could we make sure that when we come back, we came back stronger? So I used the time to get a lot more strategic. I mean, I hope it shows. So that's what we did as we fastened purse strings, as they say.
Just want to ask, while you're still talking about your agency, how many employees did you have when COVID hit, and how was that stress? The fact that it was not just you that was affected, if there were people that you were working with, how? So
I was lucky and not lucky at the same time. So the first 1.5 to 2 years of the business, we actually had a number of retainer clients. Yeah. And actually, I got quite resentful at having retainer clients because I had left agency work to build Feel Good series, Pantone Sundays, and Bloom. And with all these agency clients, I was back into servicing other people, and because
of having clients,
exactly. And the whole reason was that, you know, we started making money off the properties, and I was only like applying maybe 20 to 40%. So the dream was, oh my God, what would happen if I actually exerted 60, 80% of my energy and efforts towards these things? What could I potentially achieve? Then get the clients, and then it was like, this is exactly what I left, even though it's like better jobs and stuff. And literally, we had staff, like full-time staff of maybe 4. So it was myself, I think, an account manager, a social media person, and a lot of people were on contractually so based on the retainers of the jobs. So we'd scale from like 3 to 4 all the way up to like 6 or 8. And then at the top of 2019, I decided I was going to let go of all the retainer clients so I could focus, like put everything on Feel Good series, on Umi, which we just launched. And so I let go of consistent money. It took me about 3 to 6 months. So the first quarter to half of the year to let go of those relationships in a very amicable way. So halfway through 2019, I primarily was earning money through my events now. I didn't have that plan B. And then now imagine coming into 2020.
COVID.
Yeah. So it was unlucky in that way, but lucky in the sense that I didn't have these other people to consider, because it was all like short-term contracts and that kind of stuff. So, because I can't imagine emotionally, having to let people go. I mean, the one or two people that we did keep on a part-time basis, like we were not earning proper salaries for a year. Like we were just like incentivizing ourselves, surviving for the most part. But so there was lucky and unlucky.
Surviving was a huge part of last year.
Yeah.
I mean, even now, it's still quite a huge part. So you did well.
Yeah, we're ready to thrive. For fuck's sake, sorry. I'm so ready to thrive. I think but I'm super grateful, and I mean, just I was getting like DMs of people who were like, "Yo, I come to Feel Good series regularly, and I just wanted to check in on you and see how you're doing." And so that was like lots of like like love and support, and people like, if you need anything. And I was like, that was heartwarming to have people that you probably interacted with just in passing at a groove, if you will, and they're going, just like wondering.
Feel Good is akin to I don't think you guys will remember, you're too young. You'll remember Party People.
Very much so.
Yeah.
How would I not remember Party People if I freestyled in Party People?
Have you experienced Party People?
I think I've had.
Yeah. Remember, like that? It had like a family vibe.
It is fully inspired by Party People. Kenzera for me is someone I look up to, like greatly. When we ended up having the pop-up at 44 Stanley, I did a whole post, and damn, I forgot to tag him about how this feels like on some level for me coming full circle, because I used to come to this space to experience something so like similar, and that was Party People.
I remember that's the first thing I said. I was like, yo, this is wild. Was I chatting to you or Sims? I think I was talking to Sims. It's like, it's wild. I remember watching.
It was Calabar and Rocker.
Yeah, Calabar. Yeah. That's what I said, Calabar, not Rocker. So it's wild, because it's still, like Party People had that family thing where it's almost as though like it's a monthly reunion.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do understand when someone hits you up and says, yo, how are you doing? I just want to check on you. I usually come to Feel Good, because Feel Good has that vibe that like people come through to see each other.
Yes. You're going to connect with those individuals or those groups of people on a monthly basis. So you kind of miss that community. You miss those people.
1000%.
Definitely is that community. And I mean, because you're also so like the custodian of Feel Good series and the energy that you bring there, I would understand the human connection that people would have with you and feel the need to check in with you. So definitely in something as a pandemic that's unpredicted, that comes through as a wave, it must be disorientating for everyone. You know what I mean? The people that attend as well. So now when you're looking at these things happening, right, the pandemic hits, and then it's levels by levels by levels. How is that anticipation in terms of, okay, cool, it's level 2,
it was
it's
terrible.
level 3, like, okay, cool.
I'm not even going to let you finish. I'm telling you, it was terrible. It was absolutely, we couldn't plan. So, and there's so much speculation, like, we're about to, because the third wave was, the speculation was that we're going to get the third wave March, April last year. Yeah. So I heeded the speculation. And so we decided not to do any events. And I strategically was like, okay, cool. We're only going to do events in the second half of the year. I'm going to take on some clients in Cape Town. And that's what I'm going to do for the first half. Did third wave hit then? No. While I'm in Cape Town on my gram, just events. And I'm just like, and it's like, I felt benched. I felt like on the sidelines. Because also, and I often tell people, what it takes to pull off some of the experiences that we do, it's very hard for me at least to decide this week that we're going to have Feel Good series next week. I think just in the level of consideration that goes into the events, we really take a lot of pride into how experiences are put together and how they look. So it takes us like it's a minimum 4 to 6 pre-production cycle for us, like setting it up, even though then it becomes a template. So I'm watching and you're nervous. You're like, oh crap, if I press play now, by the time I'm ready to throw an event, will we then hit third wave? So I just had to learn to be still, even though everything inside me raged, get active, book the DJs, book the live performances, get back into the space. And, at some point there was a relative calm settled in, and it was quite something witnessing, how the event space had evolved, and like just the new entities that had come up, the new types of events. I mean, there was just so many different types of like things happening. So, and it was very interesting for me because I'd always created from a space of need or a space of lack. There wasn't a live performance party that prioritized emerging musical talent. So I created it. There wasn't a platform, that wanted to showcase emerging creative female entrepreneurs and so on. So I created it. But what I was beginning to witness was, it's not a matter of like questioning your space, but like there was certainly, I felt less of an urgency watching all the things that were happening. Like it was a very interesting thing for me as we're like, so even as we plan to come back, our schedules were thinner. It was, we're condensed right now because we had signed contracts and sponsorships and everything kept getting pushed out. So, but like, we're like, does Feel Good series have to be monthly now? Does Pantone Sundays have to be that frequent? Does this? So it was like, well, if these things are not that frequent, what does that open us up to? And right now we've become a really intentional content hub. So now it's, okay, Feel Good series doesn't have to manifest as a live performance party, because the vision in it is about bringing tomorrow's music today. You don't have to do that as a party. So what other ways could we potentially do that? So it was a very interesting thing to have happened because there I was caged to Cape Town. And I was like, actually, there's a platform that's servicing a similar need now, in a similar way. What does that mean for us? So it's been a very, very interesting time of like reflection and evolution. So even now, like we're just at the beginning of all that. Like Feel Good series has now become also the listening party. Pantone Sundays has gone from being just a color-themed experience to now collaborating with designers and and hosting pop-up shops and that kind of stuff. And now Bloom, we're having conference and retreats. So it for me it was inspiring to see how people were responding, and I'm kind of like still taking in how I'm responding to all of it.
Yeah, don't forget the playlist as well. Those are fire.
Yes, and the playlist. So yeah, I think, and it's so interesting because it's one of the reasons, like we used to have a platform called WKND Social, and people would bemoan, why did it end? And one of the things for us as the founders of that particular brand was we couldn't see or couldn't at least agree on how it would evolve. And so we decided to end it because we just couldn't, we didn't want to do the same thing. And we didn't want it to be, but we couldn't agree on the evolution of this thing. So we decided to, gracefully bow out at the height of it, because there was more value at leaving while you're here than, because you could already see, you can see sometimes the end of the road.
Yeah.
I'm like, this thing, we've got 6 months here.
Yeah. At most.
Yeah.
At
It's
most.
like, we can see it. Like you can feel the shift in the energy. And if you can't evolve, sometimes you just gotta take.
As they say, a good dancer knows when to leave the stage. So
100%.
yeah.
we danced off the stage.
But before you ran out of moves, you're like, okay, cool. I did my part. Let me be out.
Yeah.
But then now, when you get to the space of these levels and all of these things that's happening around us and this evolution, right, that's happening, how do you basically, I don't want to use the word train, but conscientize your audience and the people that are your supporters into this evolution while adhering to the strict rules that you have to abide by? You know what I mean? Number caps and things of that nature. Like, how do you now make sure that this evolution is also in line with government regulations and things of that nature?
Yeah, 100. I think there is, so our events, Feel Good is capped at 250 still. Like we're still on, like we're like 2 levels back. And I think for me and we have made it a point that all our events are happening outdoors. And I think it's that sense of like wanting to be responsible. And also you don't want to constantly be responding in the up, down. It has huge budget implications for me. So I'm like, okay, cool. What's the energy I want to create? I want to create something cozy, something intimate, something that still feels like, like family, people coming together. And there's like, and that's what we strive to create, is like a level of intimacy. Feel Good is capped at 250. Pantone Sundays is also capped at 250. Bloom is capped at 100 people. And as the world slowly begins to open up, as people choose to vax, as natural immunization, whatever. But like, we'll watch it. But I tend to err on the side of caution. I'm not much of a risk. At least I don't think so. I don't think I'm much of a
devil.
Yeah, nah. I'm like, so what do those numbers say?
I'm not. Staying here.
I'm not. Yeah. So we've tend to err quite heavily on the side of caution. I mean, the pop-up, it felt like a lot of people, but actually it was like 100, 120 people a day. Yeah, it felt like, because of the space, it felt like a lot of people. We were churning them, but we haven't been an event that is striving for the 500s or back to our regular numbers. Feel Good Series was plus minus 450 people party before. This happened. Umi was a plus minus 1,000 people party.
Yeah, Umi was a vibe.
Mother.
Umi, were there plans to expand it into more like a bigger festival in terms of Umi?
Yes. The plans remain.
Yeah.
Umi for me, there was a point I considered, like scrapping Feel Good altogether.
All of.
Yeah.
Why?
At the time, and I think we've since rectified it, and it's so interesting that people can look at something you've created and they like love it, and out of all the brands that I created, I always had Feel Good Series was not my favorite child. I didn't feel like we were living up to what we were meant to be. So I have very strong whys as to why these things exist. So like we have like what I call like the MamakaShaka like trifecta. So after I left agency, I was like, everything I do in this new chapter has to inspire, empower, and entertain. It can do so at various levels, but I need to be able to answer, how is Feel Good Series inspiring? How is Feel Good Series empowering? And how is Feel Good Series entertaining? And for the longest time, I felt like Feel Good Series, I wanted it to be an empowering platform, and I felt that it was entertaining more than it was empowering. And what I mean by that is I wanted it to be a platform that meaningfully empowered, up and coming musical talent. And I didn't feel like, other than bringing them on the day to perform, I didn't feel like we were doing anything else. And in that regard, I felt like the platform was failing. So because it was just it's such a fleeting moment.
It's a moment. It's
How
literally a moment.
yeah, exactly. How am I meaningfully?
It's not adding to sustainability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I suppose in the one breath you say, you know what, it was 3 years old. For 10 months of the year, you were consistently, booking people that other people might not necessarily be booking, because you're like, yo, this is hot. Like, what do you mean? Let's put like Msaki on, Bailwanster on, all these people, Muzi, Unarams, all these people have since on some level like really tipped over. But 2.5, 3 years ago, it was, oh, they're cool, but will they tip?
Yeah.
But I just was never satisfied at it being one moment. And that's why during lockdown, on Feel Good series specifically, I was like, I'm gonna fix this. And we decided to fix that by creating the listening party, which isn't its priority is not to entertain, its priority is to empower. So it's all about having the artist in the room with key music industry stakeholders. So we speak to the artist and we say, who do you want in the room? And you guys are often in the room because the artists have said, we want TheSobering in the room. And they will say, we want, these people, we want this music video director in the room. We want these beat makers in the room. And so people end up hopefully meaningfully connecting. So I think for us, the fact that our first one, we had Mani Badu, and there were benefits to her as a Badu. She then ended up doing a Flying Fish campaign, the stuff in the works with Universal because Gav was at the event.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, fuck, now meaningfully contributing to this. And then also, again, it was about, we say we're a platform that wants to introduce talent, but we're not telling their stories in any way. And so again, we decided this listening party will be the vehicle to help us correct that. So that was my thing. So I didn't feel like we were hitting the thing. And it's a promise I make to myself. And I suppose, those are really, so it doesn't matter after the daps and, oh, it was a great party. Man daughter, I'm like, I didn't. It wasn't a success for me, actually.
Mission wasn't accomplished.
It really wasn't. So, but now I'm like, okay, this can stay. Now I'm like that.
That's good because it is a great party. It is a great party.
Yeah.
And just like a side note, while we're still talking about your parties, Pantone. I've struggled to come to Pantone so many times. Pantone is a party that you need new clothes for.
Yes.
You need a stylist for that. You need a stylist.
Like outside of the stylist, the colors.
Customized.
I know personally you and I would suffer.
Yeah.
Because
unless the color's black. Unless the color's
I'm in black and white mostly.
And
then it's like, was it not even magenta? Purple. Purple could be magenta. I don't know colors like that. It's like, I have shoes with a bit of that color. I don't know if that's enough.
Is that t-shirt?
It is. So we say either come in a touch or as long as you are in a touch of that color.
Okay.
It's just that people really have taken to the theme and they
hard.
just
go.
Yeah.
Trust
like
me.
they go.
I went to the last one and my boy was like,
Yellow.
man, what's wrong with these people, man? Who has a yellow thing on
It's like photo shoot fresh out there, dog.
Yo. See, the yellow one, I was like, I know. I'm just going to bow down and let this one skip.
You could have just worn that t-shirt, man. It's a pop of yellow. What's wrong with you?
It's not enough.
Let me tell, there are people who come with and the sock has the color. They're like, yo, I'm here.
Yeah.
I went with a fold over, a yellow fold over. My turn up was yellow.
Yeah.
And that was yellow. Boom.
But that doesn't mean that you turn people away who don't have the color.
Oh no, we've started to.
Oh.
What? Yeah, we haven't
So
had
now we're
to.
definitely
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Imagine you
The
turned
first-
over, your temperature's high and you don't have the color.
And you don't have
Boom.
the color. Because I think at some point you just have to respect the effort that other people have made.
Yes.
And the truth is, it's such a it's a visual feast, and you're corrupting our mood board.
Visual feast.
Yeah.
And you're corrupting the mood board.
Yes. I mean, we have to rely on our shoes, man. I think that's our best bet.
Do you know, we used to actually, the first time we launched, because we're like, it's a new thing. The concept has to stick. People have to. So what we used to do is we used to buy like props.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll clown you. So you had to pay extra. So if the ticket was $100, you had to pay 150.
You get fined.
Yeah, you get fined. And then by the second year, because we're in our third year now, we were finding that it was less the case. And it was actually, it'd just be a handful of people, not in the color. And you would actually see that it was Yabaheta.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't know. And you can see they're apologetic. I didn't know, because it's you are, you're black in the sea or purple.
Yeah, you feel seen like when you move, like just taking a sip, like everybody's watching me.
So
you get cropped out the pictures too.
You get cropped out,
You're not in the pictures. Like, let's cut. Just
yeah.
And and the thing is, it's not like, for the most part, it's been well received. There's always someone who's like, well, this thing doesn't feel very inclusive. Okay, sure, that's fine. You don't have to come. But for the most part, it's been great. And I think the fashion bit for me is like, again, like the big thing about Pantone Sundays, it's a color-themed fashion experience. And so every year, I've had to ask myself, how have we been truthful to the color proposition? How have we been truthful to the fashion proposition? And then I'm like, okay, cool. Color-wise, yeah, we could do this. Oh, we did this. Oh, let's do this. Fashion, for me, like this being able to have brands, even for us as Pantone Sundays, I mean, we had a capsule collection with Art Club and Friends.
Yeah, that looked nice,
and we have such amazing, we're in conversation with such amazing, our fashion creatives, with the guys from Grade, who are always trying to work with, Rich Man Scaife, Unknown Projects, there's just so many fashion entities, not just brands, studios as well. We're just trying to like, how do we plug and we create something? So right now it's a combination of pod installation, pop-up, and we let the fashion brand or partner decide where on the scale they want to be. So you might find for someone, they are more interested in installation. So they can do that. And someone is on some, I've been sitting on like this product, I had to close my store. So actually this is a great opportunity.
Nice.
So, and they go far up on the pop-up scale. So that's been very rewarding. And I'm already excited at like, what's like the 4.0, because this is 3.0 of this.
Yeah.
What's 4.0 gonna look like?
I just want to ask, just still on the colors, how does the color of the year, how Pantone does color of the year every year, does it have any effect on your guys' parties in any way? Like, do you have special ones for the color of the year?
No. Can I tell you, it's been coincidental. So this is for me a big thing about meaningful brand partnerships. When we first launched Pantone Sundays, we had partnered with an alcohol brand, wonderful brand, but they were a brown liquid, a whiskey, and their branding was blue. So I was just like sporadically coming up with the colors monthly, like, oh, I'm gonna green this month, let's go. And then the one month we did blue, and you could just see how well activated they were within the space. So when we finished the first edition, and obviously when it comes to parties, the low-hanging fruit brand partners are alcohol. I was like, who would be the perfect, alcohol partner for this entity? And just as an insight into the spirits industry is that, spirits like gin and vodka are often introducing variants and infusions and flavors into the market, and actually don't do a very good job of teaching us how to consume these variants. So and what ends up happening is they obviously don't sell, and the pineapple variant of whatever is gone in 12 to 18 months because it just the product wasn't moving. So then I prepped a deck, and I started approaching gin and vodka brands saying, listen, I've got this color-themed experience, and I think that this type of spirit would work very well here because we can use this event to help you with your problem. So if you have a variant that you would like to educate on, the color will be informed by then. So
Yeah.
we're with Sky Vodka. So when we're actually yellow, we're actually your cocktail drinks that you're drinking. It's pineapple. It's vodka pineapple. When we're red, the vodka you're drinking is the cherry. You know,
Okay.
when we're purple, you're drinking granadilla. You know, when we're blue, we're actually focusing on the core.
Unlocked.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, and I think for me, and it's part of the things that I really enjoy is about looking at properties and being like, there's nothing I hate more than being at an event and seeing a brand and going, why are they here? Or like, what are you doing here?
That happens often.
It happens
Yep.
often, and for me, like the magic happens when the fit is just like you don't even understand like how deep it goes. Like whenever I tell people how the colors, they're like, oh, it's like that's how you know it's like authentic and meaningful. And we'll look at that, like we'll look at, oh, you know what? We had Plascon as a partner. Made sense. We have a color-themed
Yes.
photo booth that needs to be painted every single month. So we have them as a partner. Then we'll be like, what else? So it's not just about brands coming in, because we have lots of opportunities, and brands see something and they get excited and they just want to plug in. And often we have to tell them, this is not for you though. Like you can't meaningfully and like seamlessly like plug into this. So we'll be like, okay, cool. No, these are the types of brands or products that we think can integrate well into our properties. And then we like, we got.
Yeah, because with the paint people, when they first came on, I was like, paint. But then after I realized, no, man, colors. I think we had this discussion even. Like, okay, colors, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like for me, soon as like I locked on white, they would be there. I was like, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I mean, we'd paint the thing, the booth red, and then obviously, when we're putting up the portraits, we would say that's the Plascon whatever swatch red it is. That's the job done. You like the red? There's the swatch. Go get the paints. You know.
Amazing. And just while we're still going back to colors and turning people away,
That's one way of packaging it.
and now there has to be measures in place for people to come to events. Like people have to get vaccinated. And how are you and all your events like doing in that regard?
So and this is me speaking for myself, and I think it's as in like to co-sign your intro. I'm vaccinated.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But also as someone who believes in agency, I think I find it a very hard time telling another person what to do with their own body. I do, but I understand it's not as simple as that. But I still do, you know. But we try and enable compliancy through, obviously via Quicket. You have to fill in your form at the doors, getting your temperature. And we've had incidences where someone's temperature was too high. It was too high. And then our COVID officer would be like, yo, they have to wait for X amount and we need to do them again. And if
If it's still there, then
they can't go, they can't come. And we've had to turn people away, be like, yeah, it's yeah. But and I think part of why, because I have another event curator friend, and they're planning a festival for next year, and this is like thousands and thousands of people. So I'm like, yo, like that, aren't you nervous? And they're like, no, you can't buy a ticket unless you're vaccinated. And they were like, listen, if we're throwing smaller parties, maybe we wouldn't necessarily feel, but like when we're talking like thousands of people, it feels like a very necessary measure, which I understand, and I completely respect. But I think I'm going to avoid having to, do stuff like that by keeping the numbers low.
Yeah.
It's I'm keen to see how Joburg, South Africa responds to stuff like that. Because like I said, I'm vaxxed. My hope.
Yeah.
But
I'm also vexed. Yeah.
Big vax.
Yeah.
That's big facts.
Yeah. I'll also like to say at work, I always tell them that I'm the first black man to get vaxxed.
Really?
Well, in the agency.
I was about to like call Cap hard, yo.
In the agency, I'm the first black man to be vaxxed.
The first black.
I was like, I'll call Cap.
I mean, I was giving you a benefit of doubt. I was like, the sentence is not complete. He's speaking very
waiting.
slowly and deliberately. Yeah.
Did you have a sense of relief after the vax?
Huge. I was telling you earlier before we went live, like I'm sleeping better. I'm less anxious. Because it was hard being out, even though you have to be out, because that's the thing, right? Like whether a lot of us were going back to work despite the anxiety, because the financial anxiety is a thing unto itself. So you're having to balance two really challenging realities, and do whatever you can sleep with, whatever. Yeah.
Sometimes you miss the good old days, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Because everything now is like an extra cost. Like, you just think about a business, right? Like, these little things, like you're buying thermometers.
Yes.
You've got a COVID officer that you have to
need to
employ.
get the pump thing that you step on.
You know what I mean? You've cut numbers.
The sanitizer.
The sanitizer. You have to sanitizer. So you really do remember the days where it's just like, just get out, man. No mask. No.
But silver linings. Oh, how I miss the curfew. I miss the curfew so much.
You miss the curfew?
I loved the curfew.
You know what I do?
Which curfew though?
Look, I won't lie.
My favorite was the 10 o'clock.
Was that the first one?
Yo, yeah, that's the first one.
I love the 10. I was like, oh my God. People were showing up to things on time.
Yeah.
People were showing up to things on time. But moreover, I've always been a person who loves daytime experiences. And I also I don't want my Friday or Saturday to affect the day after. And then when you're doing things and wrapping it up early, my God, we were playing tennis, guys, in the morning. We were going hiking. We were going for walks.
I get that, but do you know?
It's just so
what
beautiful.
naysayer?
I know, but
I only wake up at midday.
Wow. Okay.
That's it, man.
So your body alarm clock is 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Mine is very similar. And you?
7:30.
And
are we talking
midday?
weekly?
I mean, it's 7:30.
I mean, it's every
man,
day.
Saturday.
It's every day.
No,
Saturday, Sunday.
during the week, I'm 6 o'clock, I'm up.
Because discipline,
if
because
I
of
can,
work.
Yeah. If I can, I'll sleep in.
Never.
will
I don't
sleep
sleep in.
like
I
a
can't
baby.
do it, man. And I understand why one would love the curfew as well, because even now with the curfew that's here, and
the
then
midnight.
parties, it's midnight, and then parties stop at 11, right? And I just partied the day away. Last Sunday, I partied the day away, and then I came home and I could watch a basketball game, and it was a full day of partying, and I just switched on the basketball game. Afterwards, I slept and woke up.
Look,
nice.
11 is doable. 11 is very much doable. But 8 o'clock, I struggle with 8 o'clock because I'm the type of person to leave home at that time.
You only start partying.
Yeah, that's when whatever you guys do outside in the day, that's what I do things at home.
There were people who had never been to Panton Sands. So Panton Sands has always been a day party. And they were like, oh God, this thing looks so cute. And I could just never make it because, sumo or whatever. And now they're like, I can't believe we're missing out on this thing. I'm like, there's whole life happening during the day, guys.
The thing about 8 o'clock is that the party ends at 7. You're like, guys.
Yeah, but when does it start?
It started at 12.
Yeah.
12. Guys.
It started at 12. Daytime drinking is a vibe.
I can do 4 or 5 p.m. I can, but 12 o'clock, I'm not stepping out at 12.
I mean,
bring back the curfew.
This is.
Bring back the curfew.
I mean, this is why, Feel Good series, we came back as a true daytime party, 12 to 6. It didn't matter. People would only show up between 2 and 3. its peak was between 4 and 5,
Yep,
and 9.
that's what I'm saying.
There's a frenzy now. Now there's a frenzy. People are
Exactly.
like, "Are you gonna extend? Are you gonna extend?" And I'm like,
Where's the
after party? Where's the after party?
Exactly.
Everybody's like, so like, I mean, we've extended now. We our next one with TSA is 12 to 9.
Thank you.
To allow for you.
you.
It'll be great
Shout
to
out
see
to
you.
TSA.
Please,
I'm
I'll
gonna
see you
come.
at 5.
Yeah, at 5 o'clock I'll be there, definitely. I
pulling
won't
up.
disappoint you. Kabelo will be there earlier because he...
Cabello, we
Yeah.
can have lunch together. We can
Yeah,
have
that's
lunch
cool.
together.
Yeah, you
Got
have
you.
lunch and 5 o'clock I'll be
Vax
there.
lunch. You know what I mean?
What time are you popping
Bring back
up?
the curfew. Yo, to photographers, curfew is the best time to get like pictures of Joburg. Trust me. It's empty, no cars, nothing. Trust me.
Well, there you go. So there's all these like surprising ups
Yeah.
to tragedy, silver lining and all that jazz.
Silver lining. I'm not sure about up.
Ups, yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's also things like not permit. Oh man, can you imagine when you get stopped by the police now? It's like
Yeah, I've been at the permit.
there's 2 questions now. Are you sober?
Permit.
Yeah.
Where's your permit?
Oh,
Yeah.
for being
Oh,
I've
really?
never been out of the.
After curfew.
I've never had a lockdown.
Uh,
Like even when we
Yeah.
started, I had a permit. I was moving to work as per usual.
oh my God! So you were just like
I've
swerving.
never like when you guys are talking.
Yeah.
I was like, you
Also-
know when the roads have birds,
What?
the birds are chilling on the
It-
roads. You're like, okay, this is
It
what the
feels
world
like
would
one
look
of those like end of the world.
like I Am Legend.
Yeah. Lone dog in the middle of
Yeah.
the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But a permit is a vibe, man, because you also feel like a superhero when the cops pull
Damn,
you
you're
over.
untouchable.
It feels good because they
It's like, bah!
like they.
I mean, that shit's not triggering. I'm like, yo, don't pass this thing. No.
Hey, you see,
There's that.
Like,
that.
but when you hit them with it, like, wow.
Yeah.
And they always
The
assume you
confidence.
don't have it. You know,
Yeah.
like for me, they always assume. Like,
Yeah,
they
but
assume
you
I'm
also look-
drunk and they assume.
Yeah, they assume
I
everything.
don't have a
Yeah.
permit.
Yeah.
So one was like, yo, double whammy for this guy.
I'm
And I was
sober
like, hey,
and I got paperwork.
hey, like, get the breathalyzer. They got the breathalyzer. 0.
There was one that you were on a call with me, and she was
Yes.
like,
She was so surprised. She was adamant.
It was like 0.
I just wanted to tell her, this is not alcohol. I just smell nice. You know? So she literally thought I swear that's the only thing I could think of. I'm sure she thought the cologne was
It's
something
also
strong.
energy. They're just like, you're out there, you're
yeah.
like,
You know, and then like,
"You got a nice time." Oh.
and then just like, you know, and my permit is far. So I'm scrolling. I know where it is, but I'm scrolling for it slowly just to dramatize
I had
the
to
whole
print it out,
situation.
boy.
And then, bow!
I've had that interprovincial one.
Hey, now.
But that's an affidavit, no?
That's an affidavit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I had to go home for a funeral.
Yeah.
That's the only time. And you know what made me mad was that we didn't even get stopped. Like I was like,
You wanted to use
I
it.
I wanted
wish
to
they
use
would.
it. I wanted because you know also I think is it the same one because the dates you have to come back on the date.
Oh yeah.
So I got back a day later because it was a family funeral. I'm like, damn, I'm going to jail.
Y'all ain't gonna stop me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guess who's going to jail tonight?
Yeah, that was me. That's what I felt like, man.
Oh man, but yo man, we do miss those days of
Yeah.
no permit, no mask, no sanitizer. But
Yeah,
but to new normal.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with that said, like even as vexed as we are, we still have to take precautions as much as we still miss the
1000%.
old days.
1000%.
We still gotta put our mask on, safe,
Sanitize.
sanitize. What's the space?
Social distance.
Social. Yeah, that's what they call it.
What's this piece?
18 months later. What is it going to
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The distance. Yeah.
This thing
Yeah.
between you and me.
Yeah,
What is
we
it
still have
called?
to do that. But yeah, man. And I guess basically you've told us what the future holds for.
Yeah, like consistently trying to, like be truthful to the whys of each platform and really evolving. I think, to look on year and see, your children, because these are our children. Like we're feeding, we're putting time, love, we're nurturing these properties, and we want to see them grow year to year. So that's very important to me. Very important to me.
Yeah, man.
Oh man. So guys, basically make sure you roll up your sleeves and get vaxxed.
Yeah.
You know, it is your choice, but I strongly recommend it.
Or wear a tank top.
Yeah, when you go get vaccinated. Roll up your sleeve or wear a tank top.
Yeah.
Hashtag roll up your sleeves.
Yeah.
Say, shout out to Solidarity Fund. You know what I mean? This is Big Vax. That's going to be my thing for now. Yeah, I mean? J&J.
Yeah.
One shot dick. Bow.
For me, the Pfizer baby. Shout out to my moms.
Shabba fit. Thanks. Bravo.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming through. Actually, thank you for coming through.
No, thank you for coming through.
Oh yeah,
my
yeah.
house.
The pleasure is all ours.
Yes.
Amazing space. Amazing.
Amazing space.
Mama Shakes.
Amazing space.
Yeah.
Amazing
Amazing
1.2 meters.
Mama Lakes. But I
Yeah.
was gonna say Mama Shakes because I like Mama Shaga and Mama Gashizi.
Yo,
It's like
there's Mamaka. Because
Mamaka.
some people are too lazy to say the whole thing, so now I've become Mamaka.
Mamaka.
Kashaga.
Mamaka.
I'm like,
Mamaka.
okay.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Mama God. Hashtag roll up your sleeves essay. Bow.